from the Studio 17H, this is Travel Show Live with Steve Perillo.
Good day, I'm Steve Perillo. I work at Perillo Tours, and you know what this is? My first webcast, my first travel show. What hopes to be a long career if I don't blow it today, which with your help and with my very special guest, we will succeed in having a great travel show. This is kind of two adventures in one. One is we're going to travel all around the world and visit all kinds of far-flung places, and we're also going to see if I can really do a talk show. And this is what we're up to. The guests are going to be great. Perillo Tours has been around for 65 years. You know, we go to Italy and Hawaii and Israel. We've met so many executives and so many hoteliers, tourist board heads, travel agents, airline reps, tour operators, and travel writers. They're all going to be guests. And we're not going to just ask fluff questions. We're going to ask some real hard-hitting questions so that you can find out what's really going on behind the scenes in travel business. So that's why I'm uniquely situated, being in the travel business, being a tour operator. I know how tours are put together, but I don't know a lot about how airlines do their pricing, how they do their scheduling, or how tourist boards promote a country, or how hoteliers decide what they do. So this is kind of the inside track on travel. So welcome to the show, and I should tell you that today's guest is going to be Johnny Jet, John DiScala. But first, we have our famous segment called News to Chew On. Here's the first one. Wine from your kitchen faucet. This is a true story from Italy. Where else? The town of Marino has one of the oldest grape festivals in Italy. Tourists from all over Europe make their way to Marino to witness the festival's signature moment when sparkling wine flows from the fountains in the main square. Except not this year. Some unfortunate plumber hit the wrong valve and the wine was sent to the people's taps in their homes. So it's good to go to the piazza and get free wine, but in this case, you could just open up your faucet and drink. A little bad plumbing mistake, but take that. This is the best story, again in Italy. It looks like a pizza vending machine, right? A vending machine that makes fresh pizza has its debut in Italy, of course. But it's not just a machine that heats up frozen pizza. We all do that. We call it an oven or a microwave. This pizza uses infrared ray and technology developed at the University of Bologna to knead flour and water into the dough, spread it with tomato sauce and choice of topping, and cook it all in less than 3 minutes. Could you imagine what the Italians think of this? This is a family show. I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know the words in Italian. But it's a mini pizzeria, and it's something you might not want to try when you go to Italy. This is crazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I even have to show you this. This is a real Burger King ad from a few weeks ago. Today can go down in the record books as the day subtlety died, subtlety in advertising. Burger King's latest ad for its BK Super 7-incher leaves little to the imagination. The body copy goes on to say, fill your desire for something long, juicy, and flame-grilled. Flame-grilled. With the new BK Super 7-incher. So BK has decided to go for the hungry female market, straight down her throat. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That's the hot news to chew on. By the way, those are all from newstochew.com, a great website, newstochew.com. And next, we're going to have my first guest, Johnny Jet, also known as John DiScala. He's got one of the biggest travel blogs in the world. See you soon. This is John DiScala. I don't know if he goes by that name very often. Do people know you as Mr. Jet or Mr. DiScala?
They know me as Joan Jet's brother.
Oh. She has 2 T's, right?
Yeah, mine's 1 T.
1 T?
Most people call me Johnny Jet.
Johnny Jet. Now, you got this URL, johnnyjet.com,
Yep.
in 1999. I know all about you. The internet has no secrets. But did you start right away, or did you just hold that
You know what?
until you...
I grew up right around the corner from here on Long Island Sound jet skiing. And my nickname was Johnny Jet Ski. And so when I started traveling a lot around 1995, and I started sharing all my tips with all my friends at work, like right around 95, 96, they're like, man, you need to come up with a better name.
Right.
So I was like, okay, how about Johnny Jet? They're like, I love it. I logged on, and sure enough, it was available.
It was available.
Yeah, I think McDonald's was available back then, which I should have bought.
Yeah. So if your website was John DiScala, you would not be a famous blogger today.
They'd be like, who the heck is this guy?
How'd you get started? I mean, the shorter version.
Okay,
John.
I used to be afraid to fly. Actually, I was afraid to leave my house growing up because my doctor put the fear of God in me, my asthma doctor. She said, you're going to have a hard time breathing because the planes are pressurized. I was like, what are you talking about? Anyway, I was going to Australia. I wimped out in the airport. I was crying. My mom was crying. My dad was crying because he thought he had 2 weeks off to himself. And then I got over my fear of flying, went to school in California, started flying back and forth like 4 times a year. And then I took a job at a college, Marymount College, a really small private school.
I know it.
I was traveling a lot. And I was learning all these tips because I would go to the airport 2 hours in advance. I'd be the last person in line. I'd watch these business travelers just cruise right up, you know, get first class, get a good meal. Their bags would come out, and I'm in the back, like in the middle seat going, what am I doing? I got to do something. So I started reading books, asking questions to everyone, pilots, flight attendants. I started dating a flight attendant, which is the #1 tip, everybody. And then, and I always bring box of chocolates to the gate agents so I'd get upgraded. I used to go New York, LA every other week. And I knew every gate agent. And they would put me in first class. I'd have the cheapest ticket on the plane. And they put me in first class. I sat next to every celebrity possible. And these people were like, who the heck is this guy? And I'm like, who the heck am I? Because I was getting better treatment than these guys.
John, you can't sweet talk your way to first class anymore, can you?
It's tougher these days, but you know, once in a while, I can do it. But it's tough.
So the box of chocolates and dating the stewardess got you what? If she was not the gate agent, what's the use?
That got me all kinds of tips.
Yeah.
And actually, I was her companion, so I could just show up to the airport and go anywhere I wanted in the world.
Yeah.
For free, basically. Back then, it was free.
Speaking of free, I know you charge for your advice. You make speeches, and people go to your website. You know, you want them to see the ads, you want them to see, but
right.
I want to get a few free tips today.
Everything on the web is free. If you want me to come out and speak, it's gonna, you gotta pay me some money so I can worth my time.
But I have your list of speaking questions, and I want those answers today.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
Let's see. How do you get the best seat on a plane? If you have a coach, or how do you start?
Well, first of all, there's some websites like seatguru.com, which will show you the best seat.
Seat Guru.
Seatguru.com, there's seatexpert.com, and you go to these and they show you which seats are the best on the plane. So you have to find out exactly what type of aircraft you're flying. And then the problem is a lot of these airlines are now charging for either exit row or an aisle seat. And my preference is an exit row aisle because you have more space. I can work on my laptop. Actually, my real preference is first class, but first class.
No, I mean on a coach fare.
So what you got to do is just be relentless. Call up the airline and say, listen, can I get this seat, whatever seat you want? You got to go to Seat Guru, find out what you want.
They still call it bulkhead?
Yeah, they get bulkhead. Some people don't like the bulkhead because...
Bulkhead is not the emergency exit.
It's not the emergency exit row. It's the first row between first and business or coach, but they put a lot of babies there. So if there's babies on the plane, and I just flew 3 days ago from London, I had 4 kids, and I was in a bulkhead, 4 kids screaming the whole time.
I know.
If I didn't have my noise-canceling headsets, I would be just...
And babies are not allowed on the emergency exit row, obviously,
they're not.
And they're
Kids aren't allowed.
halfway down the plane.
Yeah, so I try to get emergency exit row.
You call, or you go online and click the little seat thing, or...
Whenever I book my ticket online, I try and get that seat right away, but usually that is reserved for frequent flyers.
Yeah.
So, my advice is to try and become an elite member of any frequent flyer program. So my goal, since I fly so much, I try and get all 3 alliances. Star Alliance, Sky Team, One World. That way, whenever I fly any of those airlines, which is about, 50 in the world, I can get exit row aisle if I book in advance.
Right.
But so for someone who doesn't fly that much, call up and find out if you can pay extra, because sometimes it's worth paying extra. United charges, I think, $40. Virgin America charges, JetBlue charges.
This is very new to charge more. About how much is that?
It all depends on the length of the flight. And
if it's a $300 ticket, it would become a